100 gram.
The Popup, featuring Ebrima Abraham Sissay. The Popup is a vlog blog with podcast format, aka the plog, where we have no set location because our mission is popping up in the community to hear from local writers, authors, poets, and all different types of creators. This week, we are featuring Ebrima, a documenter and storyteller in Kansas City, but most people know him as the founder, CEO, and chief empathy officer at the Freedom Project, which is a modern-day, multicultural social enterprise focused on mental health education and equity. Thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Ebrima, to the Popup. So this is actually the first ever.
Oh, wow. I'm the first guest.
This is the first guest and first recording ever.
Congrats to you for pulling it up.
Yeah, I'm excited. So the reason why it's called the Popup is because I'm popping up in the community, talking to writers, authors, poets, directors, any creator in the industry.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so right now we are sitting, that's why we're on top of a parking garage.
Yeah, we are on a parking garage right now.
In the sun.
And the sun is like shining right now.
Yes, it
Cool
is.
Sun.
And we're overlooking the Kaufman Center. It's so beautiful.
I know. It's a great shot. Like, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
I can feel how awesome it is. Just the scenery itself. So bravo to you, a spectacular director.
Can you tell us a little bit about who you are, just like title and what you do?
Yeah, of course.
And then why, like foreshadow a little bit why we're here.
Yeah, so as we've already discovered, I am Ebrima Abraham Sissay, and I'm the founder of the Freedom Project. And the Freedom Project, it's a mental health media company, so we basically talk about mental health. So the best way to imagine it is like, imagine if CNN only talked about mental health, and they also tackle actual social problems and allocate like resources to fix problems within communities and also doing legislation. So that's what the Freedom Project is about. It's a bunch of different pieces: media, politics, like social issues, film, just to make sure that people have access to mental health, they know what's happening and how to find those resources. So that's what the Freedom Project is. So I'm the founder of it. I have a few people on my team that I've been working with for quite some time. We have an event coming up at the Kaufman Center. So
yes, I just bought my tickets last night.
I know. Yeah, I saw that. So thank you for that.
Yes,
thank you for that. I was
so
actually going to
excited.
send you free tickets, but you know what? I appreciate you
The support.
buying and actually supporting. So it means a lot. Buy a ticket, guys.
Yes, and we'll dive deeper into that project
Absolutely.
specifically.
Yeah, shameless plug.
No, we're
Right.
plugging it. And that's why we're here. And can you tell me a little bit about, like, you do so many things. You have so much depth.
Indeed.
And you go into so many different directions. How would you describe yourself as a writer?
So like initially I didn't even know that I was a writer until when I went to therapy, and my therapist basically like recommended that I should write or just do a video of myself talking about my experience going through therapy. So that's how I initially started writing. But I feel like throughout high school I've always write stuff, but it wasn't really encouraged.
Okay.
No one really told me that my writing was good, so I didn't really know I knew how to write until I started actually writing about things that I was experiencing during therapy. And my therapist was the one who was like, "You're a phenomenal writer. You should get into writing." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just trying to get healed and get my ex back." But she was like, "No, you should write more." And then the videos that I would do, because during the like session, I wasn't talking at all, because I had a really bad stutter back then. So which was a whole host of trauma manifested into a stutter, which was mind blowing to me. So during sessions, I was encouraged by my therapist to keep shooting those videos and write. So that was the beginning of my film career. I was just literally writing my traumas and shooting videos of my experience in therapy. Mind blowing.
Yeah. So would you say that the type of writer you are is a writer of films? Like a film writer?
So I have an issue with with like identifying with something.
Yeah.
Because I write things that are happening in the real world. I would describe myself as a writer of real thing, whatever you want to take.
Doesn't
that.
matter what it is.
I don't necessarily fit in a lot of film communities, even though I probably hire a lot of filmmakers whenever I have projects coming up. But when it comes to the type of writer that I'll describe myself, even though I hate describing myself as the type of writer I am, because I'm still figuring that out.
Yeah.
I like to write, experiences that are close to my heart, and sometimes I'll find those stories that other people are dealing with, and so that kind of act as a confirmation that social problem is actually worth writing, because I don't want to write about things that may add more stereotype to a community that I have no business writing about their story. And this is just a personal thing. I know people write for different reasons, but for me specifically, I write because I want that person that may be having that subconscious bias to be able to understand that bias and be able to be aware of it and see it in so many different elements and how it impacts an individual. So I guess long story short, I write about drama, like traumatic stories. I write a lot of things about, things that I have experienced as a child. So I guess at the end of the day, I'm just trying to remind that little kid that it's okay. So I'm writing all these really heavy films, really heavy stories in order to let the next kid know that it's okay. I guess myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
That's beautiful. I actually got back into writing through therapy too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because
go see a therapist. That's what's up. Oh, wow.
Because, and then I was just like, oh, I really do love this, because I wanted to replace a bad habit with a good habit. And I didn't want to go to like a group and get help. So she was like, okay, if you are more of a solo person, then how about you do like solo writing?
Right.
So I just started writing, which is developed into a book now.
Huh.
But
wow.
yeah.
Well, I am very excited to read that book. And as we were talking, I had so many anime puns. I watch so much anime. So you said solo writing. I had so many jokes, but this is not the time.
I unfortunately do not watch anime, so I wouldn't get it.
Get into it. Especially as someone who writes, there's so many levels to storytelling.
Yeah.
And like anime, it's just crazy. Like the reason why I wear this hat is because of One Piece. If you watch One Piece, Luffy, like the main character, he wears
that is a signature hat.
Yeah,
too.
Literally, I spent 17 years watching that anime. They drop an episode
okay,
once
I have to go look.
Every weekend, every Sunday morning. Saturday in the middle of the night, I stay up just to watch that. So it's like my one obsession. And I just started wearing hats because that kid wears the same fedora, but with like a red strap. But I have the same color fedora, the straw hat, but with a red band. But I wear the black band because that's my signature. But yeah.
Okay, so tell us. I know that I'm gonna say quick, but it might not necessarily be quick.
Oh, no worries.
But tell us where you're from and how you got here.
Yeah. Thanks for asking that. Originally, I'm from Gambia. It's a very small island in West Africa, a beautiful island. So imagine me being in a landlocked city, Kansas City. So I've definitely missed that. Waking up, hearing the oceans and, just walking on the beach and just smelling different smells. But here right now, all I can smell is gasoline and angry people. But I'm playing. So I grew up there. I played soccer. Pretty much my entire life there. Because that's what you do back in Africa. You're either a soccer player, you're a doctor. When you grow up, a lawyer or a failure. So I played soccer a lot, and I was very good at school. I was very techie. I got into computers when I was super young. I used to even build radios. My mom
That's
thought
amazing.
that I would be the leader of the world someday. So she had some really high expectations for sure. And then my dad was very, very like strict when it comes to educational thing. But then he was also the one person who traumatized me the most. Like growing up. So that's my background.
Okay, so then what age were you when you got to the United States?
I came here when I was about to be, I believe, 21.
Okay.
Back in 2022, April.
Okay, and you came here and you visited you were just like supposed to be here for like a day, right? You kind of had like a crazy
yeah,
story.
it's super wild. So my goal was to go to Maryland, and my dad wanted me to stop in Kansas City just to meet my uncle and like get to know him. But I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna come to Kansas City and say what's up, and then just go to Maryland. And then so I was like, you know what? My flight is late. I'm already in KC. Let me. My uncle was running late, and then my next flight to Maryland was missed. So I called him, and he's like, yeah, I'm running late. I'll be there. And then he like picked me up and took me around the city, because that's what you do whenever you have a guest, especially for like Africans. So we like went around the whole city, and then I went to Westport, and as we were driving, I saw a bunch of guys just dancing, b-boys.
Yes.
And me back in Africa, I've always loved dancing, but you're not allowed to dance, like, because I don't know why. Maybe it's kind of like a contradiction. That they have this cultural dance that everyone does, but then when it comes to like Western culture, it's very shunned upon. So I wasn't allowed to do those style of dancing. So the moment I saw that, I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. That happens in Kansas City. And then I was like, maybe I'll stick around for a little bit. Besides, I can't even afford to go to Maryland anyway. So,
do you still dance ever?
Oh yeah. I mean,
when you're out and
I
about?
have moments where whenever I go out with friends, I'm always complaining about stairs and how out of shape I am. Even here, coming up the stairs.
Well, you took the elevator. Don't act like you took the stairs.
No, I like took the stairs and I saw the elevator. I was like, yeah. Even though it was literally 2 floors, I was like, I'm not completing this. I'm gonna take the elevator.
No,
I took the elevator for the extra 2 flights of stairs. And so I'm always complaining about how out of shape I am. But whenever we go and I hear music, it's like somehow something takes over and I transcend. Like,
music is so powerful.
I go crazy.
Like that.
Like I even right now, I cannot do a backflip at all. But I hear music, and in the right energy, I will do a backflip, land on a split. I would do all kinds.
Oh my
of
gosh,
things.
you should.
Like, it's crazy.
We're gonna have to get some B-roll of that.
Man, I can't promise you that right now. I think something.
Oh, you're back up.
Yeah, you can edit.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure I'm not touching any buttons.
No, you're good.
Okay,
It's
perfect.
Keys are locked on that.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, so I would love to know what's one thing that makes you you. And what I mean by that, like the you that you like grew up with from childhood, how is that person still here today?
Huh. Wow. That's a deep question.
Sorry.
It's 7 a.m., man.
I get deep early
Oh my God.
rather
Okay.
than late.
What's the one thing that I kept my entire life, basically? That's basically acting like an anchor today.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Or just something like cultural. It doesn't have to be deep. It could be something that's
it's a really
like a
good
spice
question
that you put in your food. It could be anything.
Wow. I guess that's too that too. But like that's a good question. That's a good ass question. Can I say that?
You can steal it.
Okay, cool. But like so I feel like I've still maintained like the humility, especially as a kid. I've always been praised for being a good kid. And even till today, people usually when they meet me, they will, just out of their way, just remind me that I'm very safe to be around, genuine, all these other things.
Yeah.
And these are things that I've always been told. Like as a little kid, I remember, I was a very like cool kid, if you want to put it that way, because I played soccer. I was into arts. I used to spray paint. I used to do calligraphy. And I was drumming, so I was doing a lot of different activities that people found cool. Yeah. So which means a lot of other kids would like hang around me. But however, I always hang around with kids that I felt like didn't have a voice because I had that stutter. So I felt like having them around me was like a safe because we all understood each other. So I would always stand up for them. So still today, every now and then I'll get that reminder of someone who's like, hey man, I feel safe around you. I appreciate your energy, like things like that. And sometimes I'm just like, wait, who? Me? Oh, wow, crazy. Thank you. And I'm like, in my head, like, oh, I feel safe around you too. So sometimes
I think that's what I might have said to you.
Oh yeah.
When we first met.
Oh yes,
because I shared a story with you that I really don't share with a lot of people, and I was like, I just feel safe.
Oh wow, well yeah.
So that's so funny you say that because I literally had that same feeling.
That's deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a good feeling.
What do you think
for sure.
makes you have that quality about you? Like, what makes? Was there something?
Yeah. feel like, since I've started going to therapy, this was like 7 years ago now. I feel like I finally understand that my happiness, it's my responsibility. It's not upon anyone else's responsibility but
Yeah.
me. I'll do my best to remind myself that my happiness, starts from within, not from my dad, from any other person. But I'll do my best to love myself and like understand myself. So I feel like through that, awareness of loving self, sometimes people see that, and they genuinely appreciate that, even though they can't communicate that. So they see themselves in that situation, like, this is freeing, like,
Yeah.
and by the way, I watch a lot of anime. This is from One Piece, by the way. Like, the main character has always talked about how he want to be the freest human being who ever lived. So I guess me,
Okay.
17 years of watching that, it did something to
Yeah.
my psyche, to a point that now I can, project that energy for myself, and somehow it bounces back to other people that are in my own space. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's something that I'm still like learning. The more people I meet,
Yeah.
and it just always fascinates me. Like, it's crazy.
Okay, so I remember you telling me that your dad also is in the film industry.
Oh
He's-
yeah, so he did a lot of filming back when he was growing up, and he was doing, he went to the Olympics. He used to do that game where they pull, the rope, super athletic guy.
Okay.
So yeah, and he played sports too. So hence why I had so many hobbies, because my dad
Yeah.
wanted me to do all the things that he did not.
So was he
do.
a writer at all? Like, did he write scripts?
No, I think he was. I
More
mean,
cam-opping?
I mean, my dad is the least communicative person ever.
Okay.
But I feel like maybe he did, but he never really told me. The only thing I remember, which was a great memory, I'll never forget this, was my dad teaching me how to shoot.
Like with a film camera,
Yeah,
or like with a camera.
yeah,
Okay.
with a camera.
Not like a gun, because that's how my dad
Oh
taught
my
me how
God.
to shoot. My dad taught me how to
I'm
shoot
from
with
a
a
different
gun.
country. Whenever we I feel like American, when you say shoot, you have to clarify. Are you shooting with a gun? Are you shooting with your foot? Are you shooting with a camera? Which one? Let us know right now before we have to call something. 911. There's a guy here.
That's funny.
But yeah, so my dad, I remember one time he told me, before you take a picture, before you snap, just hold your breath, and then take the picture to make sure it's, because back in the day, the cameras are not as smart as we have today.
Yeah.
So so even still today, whenever I would shoot, I would hold my breath and I'll hit record. It doesn't matter whether it's a digital camera or it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
So I will never forget that memory, because I felt like as a kid, I always wanted him to participate in things that I would do
Yeah.
genuinely, but not like from a place of like either school or like, do not disgrace the family type of, do it. So so that like memory stayed with me forever. That's wild that I've never even like made that connection until you asked that question. So
Oh wow.
wow, it looks like I need to go talk to my therapist after this.
Okay, so did you write as a kid?
Oh yes. So even till today, I have books that I've written, just random stuff.
Aw.
And every now and then I'll just do a deep cleaning. And I do have a storage unit on main here. Please do not rob my storage unit. It just has a bunch of items that I've collected over the years. So some really cool stuff, some really cool art. And I probably shouldn't be saying all of this. They're like, how many storage units are in Maine? Oh my God, I'm still putting myself in a hole.
I don't even know that. I didn't even know there was one. So.
Oh yeah, cool. Well, hopefully the people don't know either. But yeah, I like collect a lot of cool stuff. And one time I went there, because I was traveling and I forgot to pay the storage unit, and and I also changed my card, so the auto payment wasn't going through, and they locked it, and I came back to like open, and it was locked, and I was like, oh, this is what's happening here. And then I went to front desk. Oh, you forgot to pay, you've been 2 months behind. I'm like, oh shoot, my bad. All right, let's pay it. And then I got it was so dusty, and I started like cleaning, like actual deep cleaning, and I found a bunch of these little notebooks that I stacked up over the years.
Aww.
From all the way back to Gambia. It's crazy. And I'm just like, wow, I'm a very, very good hoarder. Like,
That's impressive that you kept all that. But I also keep all my journals.
Right.
Ever since I was like a little girl, I still have them all. I have like 20, like maybe
that's
more.
That's awesome. No, I have a lot of notes. Even
okay,
right now
so
in my
do you
bedroom.
remember the first thing that you ever wrote?
Wow. I'm not sure.
That was like a story of some sort, not just like schoolwork.
Oh yeah. So I actually wrote a whole series. Back then, I didn't even know it was a series, but it's really dark too. That also tells you my childhood. So
Yeah.
I like wrote a story of this like fictional character who had superpowers. Again, basically me wanting to be able to have all these cool powers, and the story is about this character that witnessed a couple people getting killed. I've actually witnessed that as a kid too, back in Africa. So, and somehow the person who did the killing knew that there's someone watching who happens to be this character.
Yeah.
And now it's like this character is running away from this person like throughout the whole time, but he didn't realize that he even had superpowers due to being traumatized after seeing that happen. So now all of the powers that they like possess just went like just like disappeared due to that trauma, because
Yeah.
the moment you get traumatized, sometimes you can get like you can literally freeze and not know what to do
And like erase your memory.
exactly. So I like wrote it in a way that this person is a very violent person trying to kill the character, and it turned into this big like confusing chase, and then somehow while it was the character was running, he like ran over this rice field and then went over this wall, and there was a tiger, and the tiger was trying to get it, and then somehow he like jump over the tree, and then remember they have superpowers, and he started flying, and then went into this little underwater cave, and then went inside, and then that's like a whole clan underneath, like on the ground,
Oh my gosh.
just wondering where this character has been. So it's like so trippy. So this were the things that I was writing as a kid.
That's so crazy.
All like some dysfunctional stories about family, because my grandpa has 3 wives. So I remember like writing a story of that as well as a kid.
Okay.
Yeah, so I still have that. Maybe I'll now with my aware brain, I'll go back and like
Go
rewrote
back
those
and like
stories.
re-put it in.
Instead of
How would you
from a
see
place
it?
of
Would
trauma.
it be like an animation?
Yeah, that would definitely be an animation
Yeah.
for sure. If I were to ever write it, and
I
animation's
was-
expensive as heck.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking about it as an animation in my head
yes,
when you
I
were
mean,
saying it.
17 years of like consuming anime. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's a very cool story that I wrote as a kid, and the dysfunctionality one as well. I learned about it being a dysfunctional thing because back then that was okay. Africa, grandpa having 3 wives. That was normal. That was just Tuesday morning. Other people had 5 wives.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you say that like you really write about experiences that you've gone through.
Yeah.
Is there any specific person that has inspired you, or is it you're inspired by these experiences to write?
I think I have always write things, and as someone who's a black dude, I don't really see myself being a writer at all until when I was I was sent a video by a friend of mine named Charles. He's from Gambia. He's a guy who is in the U.S. too, in Kansas City, and I was introduced to him, and he's just been like around me, like wanting him to teach him everything, and I'm just like, go away. but then he's very persistent, and then over the years now we even work together now. Just a few days ago I was helping him shoot a podcast as well, but he was the one who sent me a video by Spike Lee, and I didn't know who Spike Lee was back then.
Okay.
And then I just saw that he's like one of the only black guys in the film industry in his time who was very, very like authentic to who he was, the way he wrote stories that he actually experienced.
Okay.
And then he wanted to rewrite how black stories were told in Hollywood, which was phenomenal to me, because I've always had like the feeling that, man, I wish I can do this and tell stories in a different, especially stories about Africa. It was always about some guy walking in with a like a leopard skin and with a sword, umbele, and like, with like a clicking song. And I'm like, this is not what I experienced in Africa. Why do you write stories like this?
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to retell stories about Africa. Even right now, I'm working on a documentary that I want to go back in Africa and like do a whole documentary about it. And so when I saw Spike Lee talked, and he was like the only black dude in this room filled with people, and he was so vocal about what he wanted, and he stood up. It's like this really short guy too. Like I was like, whoa, this is powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do this too. So I feel like that was someone who like inspired me,
Mm-hmm.
and me also coming, learning about my own experiences and how they impacted me also was a big like push for me to actually do it seriously.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, I was just writing stories, but just leaving them there. I didn't really know what to do with them.
Yeah.
That's that's why now I can write like 3 different films in a week. Like the crew that I had back then, they'll always be like, "How the heck do you write all of this?" I'm just like, "Bro, you have no idea what I went through. You have no
Yeah.
idea the violence that I went through to be able to write all of this."
Yeah.
So I can sit down and just like at the moment I'm writing in the flow, I can just keep going. By the time I realize, I'm just like, "Oh wow, it's dark." Because I
Yeah.
genuinely enjoy doing
You
that.
go
So,
into a raptus.
oh yeah, what's that? Tell me more.
A raptus is
A
when
raptus?
you are. It's like my favorite word when
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I know
like
it's fun.
can't be bothered, and my
Oh
husband's like, "Let's
yes.
go on a walk," and I'm like, "I can't. I'm in a
Oh man,
raptus."
yeah.
It means like you're in such a thought. It's so
Mm-hmm.
lovely and so beautiful that
Yeah.
literally any other distractions don't matter. Like
Oh
you are
yes.
just focused like for hours, or it
Mm-hmm.
could be seconds. Like
Right.
sometimes for me, like if something just pops in me really quick and I
Mm-hmm.
don't want it to
To
be
disappear.
forgotten,
Yes.
I'll
Same
write it
here.
down really quick. That can be a raptus. Or if I'm
Mm-hmm.
like editing a project
Mm-hmm.
where I'm zoned in for 5 hours straight without coffee, water,
Mm-hmm.
going to the bathroom, I am just
Zoned
zoned because
in.
I can get very
That's
focused.
awesome.
And that is a raptus.
Huh.
And I overuse the word so much to my
No,
husband.
I'm gonna start using. Hey, I'm currently in Raptus right now, so do not
You are.
Raptus my Raptus situation right now. Like I'm actually talking to a girl right now, and she's very like social, amazing personality, and every now and then I'll be in those moments where she's like, "Hey, let's go have coffee." I was like, "Why? I have coffee downstairs. I'm in the moment right now."
Yeah.
But yeah, so I want to start saying that I'm in
Quality
Raptus.
time's important.
Yes,
I
yes,
do sometimes shut
yes.
off my raptus.
How do you shut it off when you're in that moment?
Um,
Because with me, the moment I get up, I'll forget.
I have to write it down. Like if
Oh,
I
okay.
am in a moment where I
Mhm.
can't be in my raptus and it's hitting me
Right.
and I have to do something,
Hmm.
I will write it down.
Hmm.
I always have my journal with me.
I remember that because that's something that I definitely struggle. And I call it a struggle because quality time is very important.
Yeah.
The only person that I can do that with is my son because I have no choice. He's the boss.
Yeah.
And like
He's so cute.
whenever he's after daycare, it's just like if I'm on my computer, he will close it. Or yesterday,
As he should.
no, like last night, I had a very big opportunity just fall on my plate, and I needed to respond to this email real quick before I go to bed. And he was yanking me as I was writing the email. I was like, "Give me 1 minute, buddy," and I had the biggest typo in the whole sentence. And then
You sent it?
I sent it because I was like, I need to send this right now because they asked a very specific question that I could answer right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me do this real quick. And I had the biggest typo, but then I ended up just sending another email and said, "P.S. I had a 5-year-old yanking my shirt the whole time, so I don't mean to type this. This is what I meant. I'll talk to you gentlemen tomorrow." And they all just laughed, so it was
Yeah,
like cool. And I
it
was
was
like, he's the
fine.
co-founder too, by the way. He's very
Your
demanding.
son?
Yeah, because like during COVID, I used to have him on all my Zoom calls. He would be on my lap, and we just take calls. And then pretty
Aw.
much everyone that are working on the Freedom Project, they know Mercy. So
Yeah.
even on Instagram, that on my highlights, there's a co-founder highlights, and it's just him sometimes
Cute.
eating my mic while I'm in the middle of the call, or like demanding them to do something silly or put his hand in his nose. Like he kind
Mercy's
of
such a good name.
makes
too.
it so cool for me to close deals because he's the best co-founder ever.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's
but
awesome.
yeah.
So when you go, like, you're like, okay, I'm gonna write, or it
Mhm.
hits you. What's your approach? Do you
Oh.
have a process?
Oh,
Is there a
yes.
certain time a day?
I mean, it's very there's not a lot of boundaries with the things with the downloads coming because the way
Yeah.
that I see it, especially me coming from Africa, I see it as a way of like something, whatever you want to call it. It's sending me a message, and if I miss it, it'll go to somebody else, and sometimes fine. It's not meant for me, cool. But whenever it keeps coming back over and over again, now my process is close my bedroom door, lock it, and just go to write.
Yeah.
Or every now and then, whenever I'm feeling really, really well, or really good about myself, I'll go to the Crossroads Hotel. So at the Crossroads Hotel, if you go there,
It's
you probably
beautiful.
see me there a lot of time. And this is not a commercial. I just love the Crossroads
Yeah.
Hotel. I go
The
there
bar?
way too much. Yeah, the bar in there. I just they have those little lights, and
Yeah.
sometimes I will stand up. The whole place is full, and I'm just like, whoa. I didn't realize that people got here because the vibe is just perfect. I go there, I get coffee, and I'm just writing, and I'll order food. I always get the cheeseburger. The XR burger is the best. Yeah, I'll need to bring that burger back because I'm happy that you don't bring the burger back. I don't want the hummus and all of that stuff. I just want my burger. So bring it back.
Hummus is so good.
No, yeah, but like
Mediterranean.
in that moment, I need protein.
Yeah.
To be especially the burger is really good.
Yeah.
Bring the burger back, Crossroads Hotel XR.
Sad.
So,
well,
yeah.
Tannen has a great burger too. If you need to switch up the bar scene.
Someone literally told me that.
It's so good.
I was telling them about the burger situation.
Tannen's
and then they're
your
like,
next
check out
spot.
Tannen. They have it all day. I'm just like,
Yep.
do they have wine?
They do.
They're like,
They're
they
a
have
wine bar.
Oh.
They have really good wine.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so when you're very environment focused, like you have to write in a good environment.
Right.
It sounds like you have to have the aesthetic.
Oh, yes. Or I'll get distracted as heck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see a bird. Oh, that's a bird. Oh, no, that's Superman.
So what's the last thing you've written?
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Your recent thing. It could have been yesterday.
Yeah.
Last week.
I actually just finished a script called Food Apocalypse.
Okay.
It's basically, I remember when I first came to the US, I had cheeseburger from. Speaking of, still, I still love burger, but like I had a burger from Burger King, and I got sick as heck from eating that for the first time because never had any food from the U.S. My first day in the U.S.
And that's
and I'm sad. Let's go to Burger King on our way home.
That's not the cleanest.
I didn't know. I just saw the commercials and back home, and there were always burgers from the U.S.
Yeah.
That's how far their ads run, like all the way back to
Crazy.
to the islands. And so after that experience, I've always been very conscious of what I eat ever since. I've always been reading about food. Sometimes I'd rather be hungry sometimes than eat sometimes, which is weird. Because I'm genuinely afraid of the food that I eat here. Because I'm like, I don't know what the heck I'm eating. What the heck is this? What is this scientific element in my food? So I don't know what I'm eating. So
it's very processed. I'm very aware of what I eat too.
The food doesn't get bad.
I don't eat
How does that
processed,
make sense?
Yeah.
So I wrote a script called Food Apocalypse because I.
Food.
Yeah. Food
okay,
apocalypse.
I thought you said full at first.
Full? That has a full apocalypse.
But I like food.
No,
That's
it's food
because
I want people to understand how bad it is that it's an apocalypse.
I love that. Okay, so where did you write that at?
I kind of actually started writing this script like years ago, and I just finally concluded it.
Nice.
But I was at the where are we? At Messenger Coffee, somewhere here.
Yep, right over there.
Yeah, so I was at Messenger Coffee. I had a coffee with a friend of mine, and then she like ended up leaving a little bit earlier than the time that I had blocked. So I'm just like, well, I have an extra hour. So I just sat there and I didn't know what to do because I have this event coming up, so my brain is just stuck on that, and I needed to like escape from it. The amount of invoices that are coming. Look at this location. If you want this,
we're gonna get there.
The amount of invoices that are coming, and I needed a block just to like like de-stress. And I just opened my my docs, and I just saw Food Apocalypse, and I was like, oh, I need to finish this, and I just opened it, and I like read everything that I have, and then the ending just boom came into my head, and I'm like, all right, I need to finish this right now, and I just
love that.
just like concluded it, and I was so happy, at the end of it. I'm just like, now I have 3 films now that are all slotted for me to work on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
I don't know why there's a director, a film director, and I listened to him speak. He's blanking. He's like the biggest director. Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino. I was listening to him speak once, and he was saying that like when he writes a movie script, it's like each day a scene will come to him, and then a couple weeks later another scene will.
Yes.
Like he takes his time
It's
writing.
a combination of experiences.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool that it was just like it popped to you, and you're like, I have to get it. That's awesome. Sometimes things need to breathe.
Right.
Projects need to breathe,
rush,
and you need to step away.
That's
actually one thing when we met up and spoke. I really admired about you is the way that you talked I wonder if you could guess. What do you think the one thing that I admired the most?
I suffer from short-term memory loss.
Okay, no worries. I'll say it.
You gotta help me.
So the one thing I admired the most is you talking about how cautious you are of burnout.
Oh, yes.
And you let projects breathe.
Oh, yeah.
You will go off, drop everything, and go to
Utah.
different places. Yeah. Utah. I was gonna say desert.
I'm actually planning on going to Utah. I mean, that's there's a few areas in Utah that look like desert. It looks like Mars.
Like
I'll just go walk around there.
Moab.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I have a film that I wrote while I was there.
Yeah.
That I want to shoot there. Kind of give it like a Mars feel. And the film is called Impetus.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I want to shoot it in Utah.
So
someday.
why is burnout? Why are you so cautious of it? Why do you take that so seriously? And what would your advice be to others?
Yeah, so good question. So I back then when I initially started working in the Freedom Project, I was burnt out all the time. And it got so bad that one day in the middle of the night, I was drinking coffee at 2 a.m. And I was like, this is crazy. I probably shouldn't do this. And then a few hours later, I eventually fell asleep, and I woke up feeling so bad, and my eyes were twitching. Like this eye was twitching so much, and then I was just walking, and I just dropped. And then my friends, luckily a few of my friends were in the house because we were all working.
Yeah.
And they took me to the hospital, and I ended up finding out that I had Bell palsy. Like half of my face was paralyzed.
Oh my gosh.
Like it just everything was droopy. It was a bad situation. And then the doctor eventually came and explained what it was. He's like, well, you, my friend, just have Bell palsy. It may sound cute. I was like, why is he making jokes right now?
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
can't
that
even
doesn't
move
sound
my
cute.
mouth. I was like, there's nothing cute about this. My mouth is falling. Help me. And then, he kind of explained what Bell palsy was. It's basically stress induced, and it's very similar to stroke. And I'm like, I'm too young to be having this. What the heck? And then, I was also a new dad, so I was like, immediately I was laying there, man, like I'm being selfish to myself, to my son. Like, what if something happens to me? Like, this kid doesn't deserve this.
Yeah.
So now I, try to incorporate that, not like from a place of fear, but just to be more responsible, because I feel like now we've taken out of responsibility, out of all of the things that we do in many cases.
Yeah.
Especially when it involves other people, because we have this whole notion of self, and I do sound like a contradiction because I do practice self, but then when it comes to people that are close to that self, they're all part of that experience at the same time. So I try to be very mindful of how my behavior would impact other people, because the way that I see it, a single life, like being like impacted, it doesn't just affect me, it affects so many things around me.
Yeah.
And it's just me being conscious of that, but not having that pressure on myself, but just being aware.
Yeah.
And so I just stopped drinking coffee after sometimes 5 p.m. I'm still working. The goal is to stop drinking by 12.
Yeah.
Coffee, but I love coffee.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
So it's been a struggle. But yeah, so Bell palsy was a big waking moment for me to like adjust a lot of things in my life, and then be a lot more cautious and also practice what I preach, because I talk about mental health back then, and I'm like 2 a.m. drinking coffee. Like, I'm not incorporating the whole 360 of whole health.
Yeah.
So now I try to practice that, even though I fall short, because we live in a very anxious world that we've built. Look at all these buildings. This is not normal.
I know.
We have shoes on. My feet hurts. Okay, I have a hat on right now. Like we should, we've like evolved so much. So which
I know
also
it's crazy when you
so
think
much.
about like the hunter and gatherer.
Yeah.
Piece of our lives and like how we've
What are you gonna garner right now?
So
buildings? Oh,
Yeah.
look at that. That's beautiful. Sorry, I get distracted so quickly. It's like a plane, a private jet.
The sky's pretty.
Yeah, it's so beautiful right now. I wish you guys can see that. But yeah.
Okay, so what would your advice to be for someone that's feeling it to like avoid that burnout?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to prioritizing, what's for you and what's not for you. Because I feel like people, and when I say people, including myself, because I have experiences, like at the end of the day, it just comes to, us being envious of something, that's not for us, and spending so much time on trying to achieve that. To me, the reason why I can quickly like just drop things, because I know it's not for me. Like, I've done my best. I did what I said I'm going to do, and it could take 5 years, 2 years, a year. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Cool. I've learned from it. I'm gonna do it a different way, or I'm gonna move from it. This is not mine. Cool. It is what it is. So I make sure that I am always reminding myself of things that to not be envious of things that are not for me. So so at the end of the day, we can only do what we can, and if it's not for us, it's not for us, and that's okay.
I love that. I think priority, like making things a priority, is so important. I always say create before consume.
Right.
Because right when you wake up, that's the time to create, because you're not distracted with other people's words, other people's thoughts. Like, don't wake up and even listen to like a podcast, like just let yourself think for a second. Don't turn on the radio.
Right.
I think that's so important, just to like start the day off like that.
No, yeah, I have the same philosophy for myself, but I don't use the word create. I use the word document, because I feel like the moment you say create, it brings a lot of different expectation. Like, do I have to create with my pen? Do I have to bring a camera? Do I have to do this?
Yeah.
But documenting is you being present and actually watching from a different perspective of your early mornings, as you mentioned. Like, all right, I just woke up. I'm very present. I'm stepping out of bed. I'm walking right now. I'm brushing my mouth. I'm gonna go take a shower, or I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'm gonna go run. So I'm documenting all of that process as I'm going through my day, which is within self. And I definitely agree with you. I just use the word document, because create, the moment you say create, it comes with a lot of responsibility. Not even responsibility, but like pressure, because creation, in order to create, you have to apply pressure. You have to, like a diamond. When you have to turn a diamond to a ring, you have to add a lot of pressure, and then eventually you create this beautiful ring. But documenting is just you observing in order to create, because you document all of that. Now you're like, all right, now I have all the research I need to create. If that makes sense.
No, it does. That's cool. I like that. So document first.
Yeah.
That's your process.
That's
beautiful. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of starting to wrap up, I really want to dive a little bit deeper into what's going on at the Kaufman on July 28th.
Yeah.
July 28th. That's a Friday.
Yeah, it's a Friday, right?
Okay.
Isn't that awesome?
So it's coming up. And its theme, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, is a Hollywood moment, black tie in Kansas City. Yeah.
So you're actually reading the emails. Yeah. She read the emails, guys. Stop unsubscribing. I know who you are.
So
we literally drop coffee every now and then. That's just a personal thing I need to get out.
So that's a it's going to be like fancy. I'm going to dress up in my finest little outfit.
Absolutely.
Everyone's going to be looking good, feeling good.
Yep.
Okay, so tell me about, and the film premiere is with your film, I Have a Boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me the synopsis of the storyline.
Yeah, so I Have a Boyfriend is a film that actually happened at Westport.
Okay.
And basically it happened to one of my friends. She basically went out to party, and one thing led to another. She ended up getting her job broke before she could even make it home. So, I don't know what your headspaces are, so ready, viewers. But basically she was out with a bunch of friends, ended up losing all of them, because that happened. It's common to go out and lose friends, especially at Westport, because there's so many bars there. People just bar hop.
Everyone's drinking.
Yeah, everyone's drinking. People lose each other. But according to her, there was a guy there that basically offered to help her, because she was there by herself. And she cool, thank you for your help. And he was buying her drinks, just kind of consulting and making sure she was okay. So by the time the night was over, it's now time for her to go home, and he decided that he's gonna walk her home, and she said it's fine. I'm not very far from here, but he was very persistent to walk her to her car. But according to her, while they were walking, the guy basically said that, oh, am I gonna come home with you? And she's like, no, I actually have a boyfriend. But to me, that's what I heard. I have a boyfriend, because I know she doesn't have a boyfriend, but she said that as a way of trying to, stop anything from happening, because she genuinely subconsciously believed that men respect other men, and this is something a lot of women believe. Probably most women believe that men respect other men. They don't even see us as women. So it's safer for her to say I have a boyfriend than saying no. And then to me, I'm just like, whoa, that's mad entitlement. So that was my initial beginning of being curious about I have a boyfriend, and started looking more into it. And I remember another friend of mine. I'm not gonna say her name because she never told me to share this with anyone. But she was telling me about a story of how she was in a similar situation when I showed her the script, the first script that I wrote, and then she started sharing her story of how a guy. She wasn't being nice to a guy and let the guy came all the way to her house, but she was terrified that something was going to happen. And I was like, but why did you let that happen? I just out of instinct. And she was like, you were the problem, Abraham. And I was like, whoa, I am the problem. And she's like, you immediately blame me, the woman. Instead of asking me why I let it happen, why did you ask me about the guy? And I was like, oh shoot, I'm writing a film called I Have a Boyfriend about domestic violence, and here I am questioning you, the person who was in a very traumatizing situation, because all of this subconscious trauma come up when someone is put into that same situation, and she experienced that before, so she kind of shut down and just kind of complied. And so to me, that was the second sign. And then I started looking into it. I literally Googled "have a boyfriend." I saw so many stories of another girl in like Colorado who got pushed off a hill, and she's paralyzed from the waist down because she was running, and a guy asked her, hey, what's your number? She said, I have a boyfriend, and he got offended. So it's like mad stories out there.
So are you following in your film one storyline, or is it multiple?
Yes, it's definitely a one storyline because it's a short film, but eventually I want to turn it into a feature film. And I'm manifesting having Angela Bassett play the mom role. Okay. I've been emailing y'all for 2 years now, actually 3 years now, so respond, man. I got only one respond, and they said they'll think about it. And it's been 3 years. I'm very persistent, and I'm going to manifest it. But yeah, so the short film, the short film is mainly following a single storyline of I don't want to give it away.
No, it's okay. Let's stop there. What's your pledge and purpose
for the film?
Yeah.
So the goal for this, the reason why I even chose Kaufman is because I genuinely believe that if we can start teaching people at a very young age about responsibility, about mental health specifically, and making it into age appropriate curriculum, it'll be very beneficial for the next generation growing up. So this event, the location, the media, the publicity is to just bring as many media, personalities. I just sent an email to Selena Gomez's team because I work with, I've been working with Wondermind. It's a media company focused on mental health, similar to Freedom Project.
Okay.
I've been talking to them. I've been on their podcast as a guest. They still haven't aired it. I don't know what y'all waiting for. That was the best, I think. So I just shoot my shot. I said, hey, I'll send a private jet if you of the whole Wondermind team want to join us July 28th. And so we'll see what they say. They've been out of office. They're coming back today.
Okay.
But the goal is to have all of these individuals, like politicians, like legislatures, business owners, individuals, everybody to come to this location and watch the film, number one, and get to hear the panel speak. And then number two, I want to talk about the bill I've been passing this whole period of the Freedom Project. I've been pushing a bill. I think that's the FBI trying to stop us from talking. They're like, stop.
They'll pass.
Well, yeah, this is cool that all the natural sounds. I love it. But yeah, so I've been trying to push the bill. We haven't assigned a name for it. I remember the legislature was trying to have my name, and I'm like, nah, I don't need that attention. I just want to get this passed. They want to put Sissay as the name, which is my last name, on the bill. So right now, it's currently an age-appropriate mental health education bill, super long. Maybe we may turn that into an acronym.
Okay.
But the bill, I'm very intentional with how I wrote it. I talked to the whole public school system, so understand that I'm not passing a bill to create a problem. It's actually gonna become a solution. So where there's funding available for it, so the teachers won't have to take their own money to buy supplies. There's software attached to it, so that the school system can hire developers to come in and design a software for the students to have something to learn about mental health. So that's curriculum added to it. just so that every level that they're progressing, there's a curriculum that fits their mental capacity, because we don't want to traumatize the kids. So
that's the goal.
That is the goal for this event.
That is such a huge push.
But I don't talk about it because I don't want to confuse people. So I just talk about the event, the film premiere. Yay.
Yeah, and let that do the talking.
Yeah.
That's
it's
amazing.
A lot of
I
work.
mean, you're doing a lot in the community. I mean, it had to be a lot of work. I mean, the GA tickets feel VIP.
Oh yeah, and
then the VIP tickets feel like
level.
Oh my gosh. So with the GA, it's like you get so maybe you can speak a little bit, but actually let's not talk about the GA. Just know that the GA tickets feel VIP, and the VIP tickets make it outstanding. Like you can win a Corvette.
Oh yeah.
There's like
hopefully whoever wins, they give it back to me. Just being honest. Hey Abraham, thank
because
you for
want
this.
the Corvette so bad.
I mean, it's a Corvette. I would like to win it. It
looks like
and
a
sell it and
car.
invest it back into the project. The project is very expensive.
No,
it's not cheap. And I just started getting like funding. Not when I say funding, very lightly on the word funding. Just this year when I booked this location.
Okay.
But for the past 6 years, no one cared.
Okay,
at least the people that
I have to keep going about these VIP ticket stuff because there's also like season tickets to the KC
Currents, my favorite, league. I'm actually designing a shoe for them. So
I love that.
Pretty excited about that.
You're doing so many different things. I can't even keep up.
I just love like community stuff, sports.
I didn't even know you were a shoe designer.
I didn't know either.
They just asked you?
No, I just designed one.
And then you were like, here.
And I was like, hey, look, this is dope. You guys are dope. Here's a shoe. Let's talk in July. Come to my event and let's have fun. And then we will talk.
That is so fun. Yeah. Okay, so full, not even just tickets, a season ticket.
A season pass, yes.
Yeah.
I want to make sure people have the whole experience because I'm very big on experiences. I feel like people, you can only galvanize communities and people and make them believe into one single thing if you can give them the experience. It's, at the end of the day, we can try to motivate people, but people don't really, people are dealing with real world situation. They're dealing with unaware trauma. They have to pay bills, and you want them to drop all that and come support.
Yeah.
So to me, I try to be fair. I want to create the experiences for them to want to come out, and then number two, then talk about what I want them to help me push. Because I know I'm not the only person who can do this. I need the whole community, or else I'll have to go lobby in politics, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I'm so excited. And there's so many other things with those VIP tickets, like a whole list of like spa days, 2-month haircut. Like it's insane. It goes on. And I'm,
trying to support as many small businesses in Kansas City. So all of those perks in a VIP, the entire price, either the $1,100 price or $2,200 price, and like 75% of that is going back to those businesses because I'm buying bulk from them. Which I've already buy, so either way, whether we sold out or now, they have to pay it.
Yeah.
Because all of those businesses are people that are, like where I get my haircut. It's the same guy I've been getting haircut for 7 years. The spa day was the lady who helped me with my acupuncture during my Bell palsy, and I want to support her. And then pretty much all of those sort of small items that I added in the VIP perks, I work with the Made in KC and all of their vendors in there.
Yeah.
I would buy a bunch of items and I put it in my mental health starter kits that I give away in my events.
Okay, cool.
So I decided this would be a perfect opportunity to buy bulk from them because that was the whole draft here and all the business owners were complaining, not making anything. And I'm like, this city is full of it. They make promises and never deliver. Now they're talking about World Cup. So I'm saying, I'm going to do it anyway. At my own time, and people are gonna be happy. Like just 2 days ago, I had a lady message me, and she was very happy that I'm bringing business to her because people are buying dresses from her. Because I'm recommending her on the website. If you want to buy a dress, go to this person. If you want to buy a suit, go to this person. They call that preferred partners, even though we never had the discussion. I'm just doing it because I like their stuff. I shop from them already.
Yeah.
So
So how are you pulling this huge event off? What's your secret? I know it can't be.
What's my secret? Angela Kennedy.
Who's that?
Angela Kennedy is my communications person.
Okay, she's your
oh my god
secret sauce.
Yeah, she's amazing. I'm just gonna put it there.
So it's your team. Your secret sauce is the team that's supporting you, putting on this event.
Yeah,
because it really is like no other.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. And then the newest addition is Josh Damp. I haven't even spoke to Kaufman for the past month. He's been doing all of that. It's crazy when you have the right team. I remember having a different team back then, and I was always exhausted because I was doing everything, and everyone was just waiting for me and not taking any initiative.
Yes.
And then I brought in these new team members. I swear to God, I literally cried the first week of working with them because I opened my email and they're like, update. I was like, this is amazing. This is what a team feels like. Oh my God, this is crazy.
They're just going out and doing stuff rather than you telling them what to do.
Because they know what the goal is.
Yeah.
So now they're like, figuring out how to get to that.
Are they also local or are they out of state?
No, they're all local. Literally, I used to have a team of almost 65 people. And this was in the middle of COVID too, because I had a production company and a paid media agency and the Freedom Project. Yeah. I had to slow down on those two because burnout happened and I had Bell palsy. But yeah, so I'm very big on hiring Casey because Casey gave me everything, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, your film crew is all like local filmmakers too.
Oh, yes.
I am friends with some of them that you've used, and
they're all phenomenal. So
I'm so excited to like watch something that like I know the creators
right
on,
you're like I know that guy. I
actually know some of your talent that you used too when I saw the trailer.
Oh really?
Yeah,
small world.
I know.
No, the whole room, everybody was in Kansas City, and I was very big on that. I had one guy from LA, but he's from Kansas City.
Okay.
And he moved out to LA, and I've been wanting to bring him back because he's super talented, and I kind of bait him to come back, but he's married and has kids, so he went back. I was like, dang, it didn't work. You'll love your wife more than me.
Okay. So is there I want to like say any last details about the event for people. Is there anything that you want to shout out for it? For
the event specifically, I just know it's gonna be a great experience. So if you want to check it out, come through. And I'm super open. If you know that the ticket is not something that you can pay, just message me. Like people message me, I'm just like, yeah, sure. I may roast you a little bit, but I'll give you a free ticket. Because to me, I just want to be able to do something at this scale
and show people what it is,
and just show the film and make sure more people are aware of what's happening, especially on a community level in the mental health space with the bills that I'm passing. Because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit all of us. So I'm being very conscious. So if you can afford a ticket, message me and I'll give it to you for free. So, but I may roast you. I'm going to say like.
But you have to say you watched it on this.
Yes, you have to watch. You have to watch this video.
You have to watch this to
all
get
the way
to
the end. And if you watch to the end, in the comment section, just type 944 space ...
Yep, remember that.
Only way you will get a free ticket. So.
Okay, the last question I'm going to end on is something that always makes us full circle. And it's something that I'm always curious about on how people get connected.
Right.
So can you answer? Sure. How did we meet? How did we get connected?
Oh, yeah. So
jog that memory for us. I can fill in the blanks if you can't remember.
Okay, I'm going to do such a bad
let's see.
Bad job at this. Okay, I think I first initially saw a video of Sis, the company, online, and that's when I first became aware of you. And then I kept seeing you everywhere, but I realized that was your sister because I could not identify which one was which.
Yep.
Until one day I went to Nighthawk, I think, and then I spoke to either you or your sister, or one of you guys was getting married. That was you?
It was me. Okay. It was
it was on your wedding night.
Yep.
Right?
We met on my wedding night.
That was when we finally spoke. Because I also saw you at like this networking event that I was helping Zeke shoot a video. And you were there just hanging out. And you spoke to Zeke for a little bit. And I was just in the background. I kept seeing this lady everywhere. But I didn't say anything because, I was just tired.
I spoke to Zeke and Bing, though.
Yeah. Usually in spaces like I don't talk to anybody. I'm actually very introverted, extroverted person. Like in one-on-one, I'm super extroverted. But when it's a room full of people, I hide behind the camera.
Okay, yeah.
And just like, I don't talk to anybody else.
I get that. And, if someone has a camera, though, I'm going up and talking to them.
Yeah. Because I remember you were talking to Zeke and I was just like, packing because I wanted to get out of there. I was so tired, and he was just talking, and I was like, I keep seeing this lady everywhere, and I was just like, I was like, I'm not sure what is you because sometimes I was so straight hair or curly hair, so I wasn't sure which one was it.
So then we met on the night of my wedding, and because you were with Zeke and Bing,
Zeke and Bing again,
and so I went up to them, and then I don't even know if we officially got introduced. That
no,
maybe
we did not.
I think you were just like in the circle with me when I was saying hi to
music
them.
Was playing, I was dancing, so Zeus was out. So I said, "Hey, what's up?"
And it was my wedding night. I was a little.
I was like, "Oh, cool."
But
Nice to meet you.
First time we actually talked, we ran into each other at the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that.
And that was the moment
light.
we had like, I
The
was like,
light.
okay, yeah, we need to actually connect and talk. So like a couple months ago, we sat down for coffee. And that's when I was like, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You're the real deal.
Wow. You like your memory is impeccable. You remembered everything. So bravo to you.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I think it's just cool how in Kansas City, one of the best things is you can just get connected so easily.
Right.
Just like never be afraid and go up and talking to someone. I think it's one of the most beautiful
that's the
things
here, for
to
sure.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because LA is just different. I remember living in LA and talking to people was a whole different story. But here it's super easy to talk to people.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being a pioneer
I'm
on
super
the
excited.
Popup.
I'm super. I didn't realize it was the first episode, so I feel honored.
Yes.
Grandfathered in with my hat.
Yes.
You know,
Okay, we did
so
it. Thank
we
you
did
so
it.
much.
This was awesome. Thanks for the conversation. Early morning conversation.